In this video, we'll talk about Purine Salvage Defects. We are going to specially talk about Lesch-Nyhan Syndrome, adenine deaminase deficiency, and adenine phosphoribosyl transferase deficiency. So all of these things are associated with the salvage pathway of nucleotide biosynthesis. So the purine salvage pathway recycles all the free purine bases back to the nucleotide such that they can be reused. So it's a recycling mechanism. So here we have guanine, hypoxanthine, adenine. All of these bases can actually be recycled back to nucleotides like GMP, IMP, and adenosine monophosphate. And the way it happens is via a specific enzyme known as hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase. So look at the enzyme name. It says phosphoribosyl transferase. So obviously it would transfer that ribosyl group along with this base. It would ultimately make the nucleotide. So this is how it ensures that all these residual bases can actually be reutilized for many purposes, for example, transcription, replication, etc. And on a counter note, these GMP, IMP can further degrade to the nucleosides and eventually make free bases. So this two-way pathway always happens. It's kind of like a cyclic pathway of making and breaking the stuff. So this recycling is happening all the time in the cell, and efficient recycling ensures nothing is wasted. Everything is utilized for new DNA synthesis or new RNA synthesis. Now, adenine can also get converted into AMP, and that is happening with the help of adenine ribosyl transferase. So this phosphoribosyl group is again transferred with the help of this enzyme. AMP can intermediately get converted into ionosine with the help of adenosine deaminase. So now the thing is, like, all these three enzymes that we see in these processes are really crucial for all this salvage pathway to go on. The goal of the salvage pathway is to recycle stuff and make new DNA out of it. Now, what happens if the salvage pathway fails? That's what give us a context to look at in terms of disease. So imagine a scenario where basically these enzymes are failing. So what would happen? So basically, in a case where hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase or HGPRT is not working properly, then the recycling process would halt. That means guanine and hypoxanthine would eventually be excreted, metabolized and excreted. So it would be converted into xanthine and then eventually uric acid. So uric acid level would really increase. And note that hypoxanthine and guanine cannot be recycled into nucleotides. So they cannot be utilized efficiently to make new DNA. Instead, they are wasted. They are wasted in the urine. And basically too much of uric acid is deposited in several places of the body, and it's not good for us. Similarly, adenosine deaminase and also APRT enzyme, all of these are really important for actively dividing cells which require a lot of nucleotide synthesis for making new RNA or DNA. So all those activities, all these biological pathways would be actually affected. So HGPRT mutation, where the HGPRT enzyme is non-functional, it leads to a scenario called Lesch-Nyhan Syndrome. In a moment, we'll talk about Lesch-Nyhan Syndrome. So it's a rare X-linked recessive disorder, and this is due to a mutation in HGPRT1 gene on the X chromosome. And due to this mutation, faulty HGPRT protein is produced. So basically, this is non-functional protein. And this is X-linked, so obviously it would affect males more than the females. Females would be mostly carriers. So let's talk about the biology behind Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. Already we understand DNA or RNA has bases like purines and pyrimidines. So adenine guanines are actually purines. And basically purine can get converted into hypoxanthine, guanine, etc. That can be salvaged back to make more purine. That's what happens in the salvage pathway, and the key enzyme is HGPRT. But if HGPRT is non-functional, then obviously the raw materials that can be recycled would be wasted right now, and they would eventually form uric acid. And uric acid gets accumulated into several regions of the body, and it's really harmful. So pathology can be remembered by the mnemonic HGPRT. So H stands for hyperuricemia, so too much urea in the blood. G stands for gout, deposition of uric acid crystals in the joints. Psychiatric problems, developmental delay, intellectual disabilities. Red and orange crystals in the urine. And lastly, muscle dystonia or tense muscles. So all these things kind of summarize the overall effect of too much uric acid, what happens when HGPRT is non-functional in Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. Also, there is a defective utilization of vitamin B12 leading to megaloblastic anemia. Clinical presentation of Lesch-Nyhan syndrome includes overproduction of uric acid, and the key symptom is basically uncontrollable self-injury, including biting his or her own lips or biting own nails, and sometimes banging own head. This kind of like self-mutilating behavior is very much apparent in these patients. Treatment of Lesch-Nyhan syndrome includes medication which can block uric acid production. So even if these raw material cannot be utilized in the salvage pathway, these medications such as allopurinol or fevuxostat make sure that raw material cannot be used to produce urea or uric acid. So if uric acid is the main culprit, prevent the production of that. That's the goal of treatment. Anyway, another enzyme, adenine phosphoribosyl transferase, is really important for several aspects of body. For example, the deficiency is caused by autosomal recessive mutation. So in this case, 50% of the children would be carrier, and there could be 25% children which are affected. When this kind of mutation happens, the APRT enzyme is non-functional. As a result, adenine is kind of wasted and it cannot be utilized to make AMP. So obviously what happens is there is accumulation of 2,8-dihydroxyadenine in the urine, and it's poorly soluble. It can lead to kidney stone. The symptoms include recurrent kidney stone, even renal failure. Diagnosis involves detection of 2,8-dihydroxyadenine in the urine. And the treatment is basically low purine containing diet, allopurinol, which we already talked about, and basically modulating uric acid levels, and hydration is a key goal for this kind of disease. Lastly, we'll talk about adenine deaminase deficiency. It's a very important situation in context of the immune system. ADA is an enzyme that is involved in purine metabolism. We already looked at it. It converts AMP to adenosine. Basically, this is expressed in all of the tissue, but particularly lymphocytes has very high level of adenine deaminase. And this is for a reason. Especially the T and B lymphocytes are affected when this enzyme is not there. Because in B lymphocytes lifestyle, they have to undergo somatic hypermutation and class switching to produce certain type of antibody with high affinity. Both these processes requires AID or basically adenine deaminase. And in both these cases, if the adenine deaminase is not present, these processes are compromised, leading to compromised B cell response. So overall in these patients, B and T cell response are compromised, leading to severe combined immune deficiency. And that is how we can understand how important salvage pathway for nucleotide is for our own body's physiology. So I hope this video was useful. If you like this video, give it a quick thumbs up. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video.